Okay, ladies, we have Suzanne Wagner and Jennie Stanchfield here to tell us about the Shades of Intimacy workshop. The most basic question I can come up with to start is, what is the Shades of Intimacy workshop, and why would anyone want to go?
The Shades of Intimacy workshop is a workshop for both couples and singles. We keep it a gender balanced workshop so that women and men, we always have equal numbers of women and men. It's a workshop where we really begin to drop into and explore the concept of intimacy and what that actually means, which is a word that we frequently use out in the world, but sometimes we actually don't really know what that means anymore. It is also a workshop where we explore the concept of feminine energy and masculine energy, and how those two energies create a charge once they come together that we call sexual energy, or that also intimacy, although it doesn't have to be sexual, you start with intimacy, you add a masculine and a feminine energy, and that creates a charge which can be passion or sexual intimacy. So these workshops are a very safe, very structured way in which we can help couples perhaps reignite that passion. Perhaps they've lost a little bit of that charge in their relationship. It is a workshop where if you come and you're single, perhaps it helps you almost cleanse your lens a little bit. So, we've all been single and having relationships. Sometimes our lens gets a little bit muddy. It gets a little bit foggy with everything that goes on. And so it's kind of a wiping of that lens and coming back to a clear place of, this is what I want in a partner. This is what I'm not willing to settle for anymore out in that world as I'm dating other people or trying to find my partner. And to me, the workshop, it's time to take for yourself. It's generally over the course of a weekend. Again, like I said, it's safe, it's clean, everyone's always fully clothed, there's no nudity, there's no actual sexual contact with people, but it's an opportunity to really start to drop in and understand what you want from your partner, whether you actually have one or not, what you need to do to actually bring that forth in your life, and also to learn from other couples, other women, other men, about what works in their relationship, what doesn't work, what you can glean from someone else's relationship that will help your relationship. So it's a really all-encompassing type of workshop where you can go as deep and push as far as you want, or at times, sometimes you take a step back and you just kind of dip your toe in and figure out where you need to go in your relationship and take that out into the world, take that back into your life and see how it goes.
We call it Shades of Intimacy because I think what happens in long-term relationships is that everything ends up being very black and white. You go to work, you come home, you have sort of flat sex, and there's no shading, there's no color, there's no depth, there's no subtlety. And in Shades of Intimacy, we call it that because that's what we are trying to help you reclaim, are those subtle energies, those looks across the room that connect you in that beautiful, deep way, the teasing, the playfulness, the fun, the humor, to look at sexuality with less seriousness and more that, we are here for each other in an intimacy, and that what is the glue that keeps a family together is the love that is shared in your partnership. And if you don't have that dance, that yumminess, that flavor, that excitement, that playfulness, that silliness, then everything gets very boring and very flat and very sort of robotic almost. And we see that in couples that they come and they say, God, we really love each other, but we just lost that something. We lost that spark that we had at the beginning. And if you had that spark at the beginning, we can help you get that spark back. We guarantee you in 3 days, you're going to learn a whole bunch about your relationship, But in Shades of Intimacy, you want two people who are really willing to open. And opening is scary. And opening is vulnerable. And opening means that the things that you've been suppressing are going to come up. And we are going to give you tools so that you can actually release those in a safe, conscious, and constructive way that is not about blame, it's not about shame, it's not about making the other person wrong, it's about you witnessing where your partner is struggling. And they witness where you are struggling, and they stay present with you. And it's amazing how much heals when you just stay in presence with the other person, and how much can change when you feel heard, when you feel connected to. And so much can drop away, so much old history can drop away, so much water under the bridge can drop away when you're just willing to stay in that vulnerable, open-hearted place with your mate and with your partner. And that alone rekindles passion. That alone makes you feel safe again. That alone will allow you to take a risk and jump further and deeper into your intimacy. So that's why we call it Shades of Intimacy.
In my own life, I started with that black and white passion, but what came to me was this grayness. Everything turned sameness. It sounds like you're bringing the color by accentuating the differences. Does that sound right?
Polarity is a huge key, and we talk about words that you might be unfamiliar with, and so we're doing these videos so that you can actually start to understand what we're trying to talk about. And one of the words that we use is polarity. And polarity is that masculine feminine balance, and that a lot of times in relationship they end up on the same plane. They kind of end up in this flat gray neutral place. And it's kind of like if one person is being in their masculine, the other person is being in their masculine, there's no polarity. So it's like two masculines working together, and what is passion is masculine feminine. It's that dance. And notice we're not saying male female, we're saying masculine feminine, because within each of us we both have masculine and feminine. I have a really strong masculine side, Jennie has a really strong masculine side, but in my intimacy, in my partnership, honestly, I just don't want to be in my masculine 24/7 as a woman, and as a woman with a feminine sexual essence. It's exhausting. And what rejuvenates me is for me to surrender and open, relax my body, find my flow again, and to have my partner understand that I need some time to cultivate that. I need constructive time through exercise and yoga or breathing or bubble baths. I need to drop into my feminine, and my man knows that when I'm in my feminine, I am yummy and I am open and I'm playful and I'm a lot more fun. But ladies, it's really hard when you're in the world to drop out of your masculine, and that takes practice. And that's why we separate the masculine and the feminine. Sometimes the men are doing men's stuff and the women are doing women's stuff, so the women can cultivate their feminine and come back in, and the men are just astounded because all you've done is work on your feminine. The polarity instantly shows up, and instantly the men are like, wow, that's astounding.
What I found in my own relationship is, basically what drew us to this work was the fact that we had lost that charge, we had lost that polarity, everything had become flat. And it was extremely painful because you look at your partner and you love your partner deeply and you want to be with this person, but in some ways to be with this person is painful because you're not connecting on that intimate level anymore. The polarity, that dance, is gone. And so we have a lot of couples that come to our workshop where that's the situation that they're in. It's become flat. And so they come to the workshop to learn very simple tools of how to rekindle that polarity, how to rekindle that charge. For the women to drop into this receptive feminine energy, for the men to come into this masculine structured pole, which is the way that you recreate that dance in your life.